So here we are. Music matters to creators. Before we get started, Becky, I'm going to talk to you about the industry and whatnot, and you two certainly as artists, and a lot of fans out there who are waiting to hear what you have to say about that. But first of all, just a little bit of background in case you've been living under a rock. So we'll start off with you, Pia. You are the lead singer of Lola, Amor, based out of the Philippines. Your song, Raining in Manila, has broken multiple records and then some. You were #1 on Spotify, on Apple, iTunes, YouTube Music in the Philippines. You've been cleaning up shop, basically. You had the biggest streaming day for a week for a Filipino song on Spotify. That's dope. You had a major viral hit on TikTok that's been used hundreds and thousands of times for UGC content. And then, of course, K-pop idols and Hyphen, members of GOT7. They covered that song as well, and you even performed the song with a little-known band called Coldplay. Right, when they were touring in this part of the world, and in the Philippines specifically, right? Yes, Coldplay, you've heard of them before, I'm sure.
Who?
So,
Sorry.
yeah, right? Who? Coldplay. But so you've seen some stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of stuff.
So that's just a little bit of background on you, P, as an individual. But moving on to my boy Oliver, you have experienced viral success as well, hugely on TikTok with your remixes of popular songs by the likes of Doja Cat and Ray, and your live streams have led you, and I had to correct this earlier when we were speaking, right? You have amassed over 1.1 million followers. In doing so, you've got live streams. You use your live streams to show your creative processes, and you even write new music with fans as well. You collaborate with the fans that watch you, which is something very, very special. And your song, Boys Don't Cry, became a viral hit, popping off on TikTok and hitting Spotify viral charts in Nigeria, and even at #8 on Shazam, on the charts in Shazam in India as well. You are known the world over, so it's an honor to have you both here with us.
Thank you for having me.
But what about you, Becky? I love you too. Can't be on this panel and not
I'm
show
just
some love,
Becky.
please. No, come on! Can you give us a little bit of background as to who you are and what you do, Becky?
Yeah, so I'm the Vice President of Brand Partnerships and Sync for Warner Music for Asia, and I kind of look at myself like a matchmaker between brands and artists, creating authentic, creative, and strategic partnerships.
Boom, I love it. All right, so welcome, lady and gentlemen. Let's get stuck right in. First of all, let's talk about music for content. That's why we're here, right? So, music is very important to creators. Whether or not they're musicians or not, music plays an integral part in any content that goes out there online. But specifically to you as musicians and creators, I remember a time where, I'm showing my age here a little bit, but I remember a time where you dreamed about going viral back then by handing in your demo tape to an A&R guy that represented a music label and just prayed that he made it through the first 10 seconds and then gave you a call back or even a fax or a letter, I don't know. Gone are those days now, because thank you to the advent of the internet, social media, and so on, right? So how has social media and all the platforms that you have available to you changed the game as far as music and being an artist?
I mean, there are a lot of ways where it's changed. Essentially, it's what's happened to news as well, where you take out you can get started on a music career without the essential gatekeeper of the system. So you can make your own music, and you don't need someone else to like it for you to be able to start. So that's one of the things. But also, even as a musician, that we've been a band for 10 years. So we reached the era of music where it was we didn't reach the cassette tapes, but we did have to build our following from grassroots. We would meet our fans on the ground. We would play shows in these bars over and over again. But essentially, at the turn of the pandemic, we had to adjust. And at first we would resist. we thought it was difficult for a musician to become a content creator as well. But it's just something that you have to do, and it's part of the job. If you really want to be a musician in this industry, you have to find a way to love all aspects of it.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I'm a little bit younger, so I came up in the social media age, and I actually learned how to make music off social media. I used to watch YouTube videos teaching me how to produce beats and how to use auto-tune and how to sing and how to create a career out of that. So I know kind of no different than social media. I did have a bit of resistance at the start after, you know, starting and wanting to be above all of that. And then I realized I couldn't actually make things work. People crave that interaction on social media, and it's a way to showcase a really personal side of you and connect with fans from all over the world. As you mentioned earlier, like I've been able to cultivate fans on all these different incredible places around the world, which I'll never could have imagined happening just because of social media, being able to take my music all over the place.
And, you know, from an industry standpoint, you know, we're talking about, obviously they've found huge success in being creators as well as artists. But can you tell us from an industry standpoint why music is so important to creators, or rather why it should be so important to creators, certainly the ones that maybe aren't musicians, but why music is an invaluable part of their creativity?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give three actually, and I was saying to Oliver before, I was quite surprised that the topic of music hasn't really come up today, because I think number one, in a day where everyone's talking about capturing people's attention, first 3 seconds so important. One scientific reason for music is that the human brain actually recognizes familiar music within 100th of a second. So when you're trying to use tools to catch attention, that seems like one of the most powerful ones that you can. The second, which was mentioned earlier for the Meta one, was the trending audio. So again, if you're looking at discoverability, if you're looking at ways in which you can actually interact, and I think the best example, and I'm going to borrow someone's voice here because I can't sing, but Jess Glynn's Darling Hold My Hand. Can you sing a line?
Am I singing?
Jess Glynn's Darling Hold My Hand.
What's that?
Darling hold. Okay.
Oh,
Jet 2.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Exactly.
Hold my hand. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why that was a UK campaign, you know, it was never designed to be viral. It's the music that enabled people to interact and to actually be a part of it, to jump on a trend, to then create this momentum and noise. So that's also another way in which you can use it and interact with it. And then the third is, a lot of the creators also talked about this 360, kind of beyond the views, what do you do? And music is such a natural asset, such a natural passion point where you can actually create that offline interaction and so seamlessly go between the offline and the online. So yeah, loads of reasons, but those are three major ones.
But well, it's interesting because you know we've heard of the jingle. You know, everyone hears a jingle, and a lot of the time that jingle becomes so synonymous with a brand that you know, without having to see or watch anything, you know exactly what brand it is, and you kind of go, oh, I definitely want to watch this now, or something like that. I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. If I watch, I mean, I've been, you know, I jumped down the rabbit hole of looking at reels and TikTok videos and all sorts, you know, and the videos that come after the nothing beats a Jet 2, you know, the videos that come after, they have, there's no meaning, there's no rhyme or reason behind it, but it's because they've used that soundbite at the beginning, it becomes funny, and that then tends to go viral as a result because that was the trend. So you're right, it is very, very important. So jumping from that and the importance of music and how you're saying that people recognize music in how fast?
100th of a second.
100th of a second. So it's key to be able to use music in your videos as content creators. But it's that sometimes ever elusive, you know, target to go viral, to get that viral video. You know, everyone's chasing, all the content creators are chasing that one viral video, or at least just want to know how they can go viral. And you guys have succeeded in more ways than one. Nobody can guarantee that your video is going to go viral. There is no guarantee whatsoever. Once you make it and you put it out there, you have no idea how well it's going to do or not do. But the key is to put it out there first and foremost, is it not? So, you guys have seen it. You've experienced it. So I wonder whether or not you could give us some tips for the creators in the room, and indeed everyone else, how you've managed to do that. I know that's a very vague and very general question, but you seem to have found the right component, the right ingredient.
I think the biggest thing is actually removing the word viral.
Okay.
People try so hard to go viral that they lose the connection. I think the key is to connect and relate. And in turn, something, if it is relatable and connects enough, millions of people will find relatability in it, and the video will in turn go viral. So I think, yeah, removing the view counter and trying so hard to get views and followers, I mean, I've been guilty of it myself, and I've had a long career in social media, and I've been viral for things that I've looked back on and thought, that doesn't actually align with me, and these are not videos that I want to continue making.
Right.
And I've had other videos that have gone less viral, but have been authentic to me and connected to the people I want to connect with, and have been much more important for my career and my growth. So I think connection is the biggest part of that.
Well put, and I suspect the same can be said for your band as well.
Yes,
Pio, you know, 'cause-
just to echo what Oliver said, I think authenticity is one of the most important things when you're and forgetting the word viral, because even our song "Raining in Manila" that you mentioned, our biggest song ever was actually going against the grain. It's above 3 minutes. It has a 1 minute instrumental. It takes so long to get to the hook, but for some reason it went viral, and people saw the authenticity, and of course the product has to be good first and foremost for it to go viral. People have to, you can't go viral for a song that's not good, unless that was the point, you know. But yeah, I think that's what's most important if you want to go. Well, virality is just the first step. What are you gonna do if you don't have the fan base to sustain it, the following that actually loves the music that goes beyond that viral song? So I think the strategy is to just develop your audience and get these people to follow you on your journey, and then one day, you know, sooner or later, you're gonna have something that is worthy of being viral, and it really helps to be able to have that foundation to help you bring it to that level, you know. And of course there are these little things where you just interact with everything that they post, especially when the post starts to get viral, you know. It's a lot of little things, but you know, at its core it's about, you know, being true to your artistry.
Yeah. And what you touched on is building blocks. Sometimes it isn't actually beneficial to have one video go viral straight away, because all of a sudden you haven't done the groundwork and the steps to fall back on, because social media is a roller coaster. It's up and it's down. And what Pio was talking about, if you are true to yourself and true to your content and make sure to touch every corner of where you want to go, then eventually, and be consistent with it, as we've heard all day, consistency is the key. Eventually something will go. And if you've done all the groundwork for your brand and your authenticity, then eventually something will go and it will stay, and that's the key to longevity.
I think that's, yes, absolutely. I think consistency is definitely one of the themes and the key words that we've taken away from this week, but also authenticity is hugely important, especially for artists, especially for musicians as yourself. You know, you're not chasing views, you're not chasing, it's your music. You know, if you're songwriters,
and a lot of the times
it's personal.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, I mean, for me, and I'm sure a lot of creators here, it's always the video that you don't expect.
Yeah.
That, at least in short form content, it's the video you don't expect to go viral. It's a song you don't expect to go viral, because you're not actually thinking about it at the time. You're thinking about your art and your creativity and your authenticity.
You know, I get asked sometimes, you know, holding the mic, you know, in front of an audience at times, and I get asked, how do you engage with an audience, and what do you do when they're not listening to you, and things like this. And I always tell them that, you know, when you're on a stage, or indeed if you're online, you know, you don't have to necessarily grab everybody's attention in the room. You know, I try to pinpoint that one person, you know, because there's always going to be people that are on their phones or having conversations midway through and things like that, and it can be off-putting, sure. But to that one person, what you're doing matters. To that one person, they're engaged in what you're talking about. And so that's the same for artists, I suspect, as well. Because if you have a fan base of, let's say, 10 people, you know, you're not going to go around changing your style and your authenticity, because it matters to those 10 people that what you're doing is unique and it's, you know, it's personal to you, right? It's what's important.
Yeah.
Okay, but equally, Becky, with brands, you must get the question as well. You know, I mean, I hate to use the word again, but how do we get to go viral? Is there a way that brands can benefit from being a part of the success of, you know, artists that do eventually go viral?
Yeah, and I think that I 100% agree with everything that Pio and Oliver are saying. The challenge sometimes with the brand side is that they don't necessarily have the patience, or, you know, when they're coming, they're really looking for that solution, and we can't guarantee the virality. And I think that there are a lot of things you can do from a hygiene perspective, all the things that have been talked about. Your content needs to be good, the authenticity needs to be there. I think that it's just a case of, for brands, they really need to know the audience that they're speaking to, and then be able to leverage, I think, other people's equity that they've built upon to be able to speak in their voice and in their own authentic voice as well. I think that that's probably the challenge sometimes when it comes to brands, is just balancing that they can't always come with a ready-made solution, because you need to hear it from the platforms and the people that you're actually getting to speak on your behalf.
Can you give us a sneak peek? I mean, you know, within Warner Asia, you know, can you give us a sneak peek as to what it is that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking for when you look at, you know, an artist that's, you know, making the rounds on social media and getting a lot of popularity? Are there any unique ingredients that you're looking for that maybe some of our other creators could benefit from?
In terms of artists, or?
Yeah, in terms of artists.
I think that whenever artists stand for something, I think that, you know, when they have a message to share and it stands on their own 2 feet to be able to say it, I think that that's the most important thing. They have an identity and they're able to express that.
So you're playing to each other's strengths. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
for me, it was really exciting. I'm a solo artist and have made a certain type of music for a long time. And collaborating with these boys is something that was so new to me. You know, these guys are, what, 8, 9 of you? How many?
Eight. We're eight.
8-piece band. And for me as a solo artist who a lot of the time produces music myself with programmed drums, this is an 8-piece band with horns and everything you can imagine. And that was so exciting for me to just kind of push me out of my comfort zone and be taken into a world which is completely different, and a culture that is different that I'm not used to. And that was a very exciting part for me too, being able to actually go to the Philippines and shoot the music video with them in Manila and play shows in Manila, and that was incredible.
Love that. That's the whole 9 yards right there. I mean, again, showing my age, you know, as a drummer, you know, there was a time when I wasn't the drummer in Jasper's band Uranus. Shameless plug there. But, you know, where I would have to put up a notice. Literally, I would go on the school bulletin board and say, drummer for hire, or just, I play drums. Is there a, you know, but again, the beauty now of social media and being able to create content and whatnot, and I'm going to touch on this a little bit later on and get your advice on this, is that I don't have just my community within my school or you know, my neighborhood or anything. I now have the entire world at my fingertips to be able to say, right, I'm a drummer, does anyone want to collaborate? Is that something that I mean, you've collaborated with some of your friends as well, like they give you song ideas and whatnot. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the collaboration with my fans is more I found a way to connect early on through live streaming, and I know it's been talked about here today as well, but it's such a big thing now, streaming. And one thing that I noticed when I started streaming 3 years ago, before it was as big as it is right now, is the ability to connect through music on stream. And one thing I've found is people want to be a part of the journey and be a part of what you're doing. And especially with music, it's rare for artists. It's becoming more common now, but it's still a thing that people need to start doing more of, is showing the process and inside the studio and how songs get created. And I think it's very interesting, and I know fans do as well. And so what I started doing was writing a song on live from scratch and getting my fans to help write it and give me lyrics. And then at the end of the live, I would send them the song, and we created this together. And I think collaboration makes things easier, because you don't have one brain, you have 2 or 8 or thousands of brains collaborating and giving different ideas and fueling the fire. And it's also fun, I think, and you said it at the start, like, we had so much fun creating Maria. I have a lot of fun on live with my fans, and yeah.
Any other collaborations in the pipeline? I mean, I know that that you've got this thing with your audience, which is fantastic. Who gets the songwriting credit, by the way?
Me.
Yeah.
They get the satisfaction of being able to help me.
There you go.
And be a part of it.
There you go. But right, so the collaborations have happened. Can you give us any insider information? Are there any other collaborations in the pipeline?
Well, I actually have
Before-
one that hasn't been announced, but another one from the camp that we were part of in Malaysia. I have a song coming out with another Filipino artist, Jason Dakal, which I'm very excited about. Go Philippines.
Yeah, we got some fans in the house, which is awesome. Very, very good. From a sync and partnerships perspective, Becky, what do you think is key to a successful collaboration? What is the single most important indicator that you look for whilst determining an artist's personal brand and how that aligns with a partner, beyond basic audience metrics like follower count and things like that? What do you look for?
I think the foundations to any successful partnership, and whether it's collaboration between artists or collaboration between artists and brands, is that you're not trying to create a winner-loser scenario. So you're never trying to one-up the other. You know that you're going in both with different values. You've got different audiences, or at least audiences that you have an inkling or know that they're going to cross-pollinate and grow. So I think that's probably the main. There's lots of different reasons and things behind it, but that's really the core of a successful one. And then I think the indicator, listening, I said I kind of look at like myself as a matchmaker, and when you guys were talking about your collaboration story, it really sounds like a love story, a dating story. I kind of look at that as well when it comes to pairing brands and artists, is you're ultimately trying to find what the core values are that align you. And everyone always loves to go for the sexy. I want to work with fashion and luxury and Nike, but no one says, I really die hard want to work with a bank or insurance. But there are a lot of different ways in which you can collaborate, and there are values that you can align with. So insurance is linked into wellness, and if someone else is aligned with wellness, then there's a creative outlet, and there's a creative way of creating something exciting and magical together.
Just sticking with brands before we move on, Pio, you've collaborated with the likes of Jameson and Noor. Yeah. I got to ask you, as an artist, how do you evaluate your potential brand partnerships as you would have done with Jameson and Noor, for example? How do you ensure that the deal enhances your artistic narrative?
Well, you have to make sure that, we make sure that the values are aligned. Or the Noor partnership was about sinigang. Sinigang is something you drink when the weather is cold in the Philippines. So that's like raining in Manila, sinigang made so much sense, right? So that we were happy to do that, and it was one of those collaborations that did go viral. We had this whole sinigang fountain. You couldn't drink it though; it was dirty. But it was a whole fountain in the theme park. All this stuff. It all went viral. But that's because it made sense. It honestly felt organic the way that we collaborated together. It was you have to. Like what Becky said, that you don't one-up each other. Make sure that you're both getting stuff out of it, because that's the only way that the final product can also feel authentic. It needs to make sense. With Jameson, on the other hand, they are a company that really supports the music scene in the Philippines. So it's a really good brand to be aligned with for us. It was really aligned with our goals, and they've helped us in so many ways. They gave us free guitars. We're right now, Lola Amor is judging a competition for amateur bands, where the winner gets to go to Ireland, and then they collaborate with Anderson .Paak. Or was that last year? But every year they have that contest, which supports the music industry, which is we are happy to get behind. Yeah,
that's great.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Oliver, you are no stranger to brand partnerships. 7-Eleven, you've
Yes.
collaborated with 7-Eleven. They are a brand known globally Tell us a little bit about that, if you can, how that came about and what you did with them.
Yeah, I mean, a similar thing with PO is first and foremost making sure you align. And for me is having as much creative control within the guidelines. I know my audience and I know what content will work, and it is a partnership. So if a brand comes to me with a concept that I know won't really work with my fans, it feels wrong to do that with them because I'm not going to be able to give them all of the potential. So with 7-Eleven, they came to me and said, we'd love you to, and I love making jingles. It's a hobby, and as a songwriter, it's a fun challenge. And 7-Eleven was like, well, can you make a jingle for the new products that we have coming to store? And so I found it a great challenge and made a jingle, and it was a lot of fun.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Can you give us another example? I mean, these are two success stories here, Becky, but can you give us any other examples where, an artist and a brand collaborate and effectively create something entirely different together? Are there any other examples?
Yeah, I think I was trying to think of the best example to give, and I think one of the ones that we did with Riot Games, Linkin Park, it was Heavy as the Crown when that was released. That was an official song that was going to be part of their album, but they had that conversation early on enough that it was, what can we do together as League of Legends, World Champions, World Championship, and that was something that they created together, essentially, how to market that, how to put that out there, but both have skin in the games in terms of how they put it out, and I think within 24 hours, that was the most viewed music video for them, for Riot Games, ever, and it gained 10 million within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours. That's incredible. Wow. There's so many more questions I want to ask you on the topic of collaboration, but I really do want to get to music and AI before that thing reaches zero. So
see that.
obviously AI is it's a huge hot topic in the world of music. So I want to ask you guys, specifically as artists, what you think about the use of AI in music today. Obviously, we talked earlier about all this new software that's coming out where you're able to extract all the different stems from pretty much any song that you want. I mean, is it Logic Pro that you can do
Logic
that
now has a...
And there's websites now that you can do it on.
And it's scarily accurate. I mean,
And
it's really good.
people they'll often say it's all about the prompts that you use when you use an AI, things like ChatGPT and all that sort of thing. But is it Suno?
Yeah, there's an AI Suno which you can say, make me an R&B song that sounds like this, and in 12 seconds it'll make
Scary.
the greatest song.
I typed in grunge, make it sound like Alice in Chains, whatever, and in 15 seconds it gave me two different songs. What are your thoughts on that? Because I want to talk about the morality and the sort of ethics about using AI in music, because obviously if you can do something like that and then plug that as your own song, as your own creation, and say that you're a songwriter, how does that sit with you as artists?
It's
hot topic.
AI is inevitable. It's not going anywhere. Where it is right now is the lowest it will ever be from now on. So I think it is useful in certain aspects, stem splitting, getting inspiration potentially. But what I think it has helped is actually drive the consumption of authenticity, where AI is becoming more and more prominent in not just music, but in every aspect, that people actually want and crave human connection. They don't want to hear something that sounds like it's been made from AI. They want to see the process of you actually putting your heart and soul into music, because that's what they can relate to. So for me, I think it's actually kind of driven the opposite effect.
I mean, from a band perspective, I think AI can never replace the brains of your band members. Like even through the years where we've had some band members leave and get replaced, that new band member will always change the sound of the music following that entry. So you can use it, I guess, but it's not something we necessarily agree with. But Oliver said you can't stop it. How can you, if it's invented, how can you stop it?
And how can you
progressing?
So it's much more about how can you use it in a way that is effective for you because you can't escape it and it's going to be a thing forever.
Yeah, and do you really want to make music that's, like, wouldn't you be much more fulfilled making music that was all from you? I think that depends on what you value as an artist. Well, shout out to my bandmates over there. Why are you guys smiling so much, huh? Yeah, but we do take pride in making our songs from scratch. And like it's like your own child. You raised it up to that level. So AI music, yeah, we don't really use that. We don't agree with it. But might not be the case for other people. But we use AI a lot as for our administrative work because we're musicians first, so there's a lot of stuff that we need
That makes
AI
sense.
for, like
Yeah.
coding spreadsheets and stuff that we
Yes.
don't
There's
know
a
how to do.
there's a viral channel, and we touched on this earlier. As a drummer, there's a viral channel out there called, if I say viral channel, there's a channel out there called Drumeo, where they bring in a lot of the sort of world famous drummers from various bands, and they bring them in and put the music on. They've never heard the song before, and what they do is they remove the stem of the drum track, and they get them to play along. And those videos, certainly with drummers, those tend to go viral.
Oh, I've seen them, yeah.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to see.
And AI is splitting the stem.
And splitting the stems, yeah. Finally, because Jasper is going to be so upset with me if I don't get this done soon. Lastly, just with you, Becky, what are some of the challenges, the biggest challenges that the music industry is facing with regard to AI?
Yeah, so I think everyone talks about AI just in terms of this inevitable tool and all these things are happening. I think behind the scenes, the main thing, and I'll try and make it quick, but the main thing is really talking about the ethical side of it, which is that I think earlier in All That Matters, there was some industry folk that were saying, well, we're just going to come to a model where people are going to be compensated. And this is more from the training, so the training of the actual tools they're actually using without permission. And I think that people also forget the amount of work in the back end that's going behind actually trying to ensure that the rights are being protected, because if not, it can spread like wildfire. And I think that the other thing that we all, I would say, forget about a little bit is that being able to listen to music is more of a privilege than it is a right. And if we don't make sure that those artists who are creating the music are protected, then it's going to end up being something that people don't want to do and that it dies out. And as we were kind of saying from an AI perspective, everyone, once they find out it's AI, the butt almost stops there. There's no tracing it beyond and growing that engagement with it. And that's what's important. It's the human connection. It's the human involvement behind it.
Music is an artistic medium, period.
Yes, sir.
And on that, ladies and gentlemen, please, another round of applause for Pio, Oliver, and Becky. Thank you very, very much.